Hi, Darren here from 365 Assist. I just wanted to give you a quick video showing you how I put together a Microsoft list in Teams where I've got a list of assets and can send an asset to somebody who's going to borrow it and get them to approve that they've received that asset and send that back and update that list based on the date of approval. I use an area within Power Automate called adaptive cards, so I'll show you a little bit about that too. So here we go. So here I am managing my list of assets, my IT assets, and I've got 3 records here. What I'm going to show you is in my first record, this item, this asset, this Lenovo laptop, what I want to do is I want to assign the physical product to Megan, and I want Megan to acknowledge the receipt of that product that she's received. That so what I've got here, I'll come back to this, but this field here is an acknowledgement date, and at the moment it's blank, but after the receipt and acceptance that date will be filled in, so we'll come back to that. So the way we run that is just select the item that I'm going to do that, go up to automate, and the automation should be there. Yep, send approval adaptive card, that's the name I gave it as the automation. Click on that. We run this flow. Now I'll switch across to the Megan's Microsoft Teams login, and you can see here Megan just then got an acknowledgement receipt, and in that information I've created an adaptive card. This adaptive card is what they call it, has information that comes from that list. So obviously it has the asset information, the model serial number. I put an acknowledgement in here to acknowledge that she's accepting this, and when she's happy with all that, she can just submit that acknowledge. Just click on that button, and then that just turns that into a thank you for your response, which has happened before. Let's switch back to the list now, and you can now see on the list that the date it's been acknowledged, and there's the date that automatically came to that list that Megan approved. You can obviously put more information in the list as you want, but that's pretty basic in that respect. Now let me show you how this was built. So the list is obviously just a Microsoft list, the new application that they've got there. In my case, it's already there. When I created a new one, you can create your own from blank or from an existing spreadsheet, but I just created one from the template, the asset management template here, and adjusted it. So they've got some nice templates that you can use as a basis in which to create your own list from. That was quite easy to do. Then I created a Microsoft Power Automate flow, and this is what they call an instant trigger. So this one comes from is triggered from the list. It's actually Microsoft list is SharePoint list, so you have to use the SharePoint list at this stage, and it's triggered for a selected item that the person has selected. It gets the information for that item, so we have all the fields and everything that comes in from that list. Then I've got the user profile, so we know who to send that to, so whoever the current owner is, we know to send that. And this is where the fun comes in. This is what they call the adaptive card. So I've posted adaptive card and wait for a response. So it'll just sit there, the process will sit there waiting for a response. So I posted this as a Flowbot and in a chat, and then there was all this, JSON code here. Now I'm no JSON programmer, so I didn't actually write all this. I actually got this from a site that Microsoft provides that helps you build this, and I'll show you that now. So Microsoft make it very easy for low-code developers with this site called Adaptive Cards, adaptivecards.io, and it explains how to create them. There's a whole lot of videos, etc. here, and it's got a whole lot of samples you can build off that are very good, that you can build off from here. But the best thing I like about here is the designer. It's really the old WYSIWYG designer of being able to do that. So this is what, in this particular instance, the sample would look like in this card would look like here, and then it creates the code from that. So that's really powerful. And so what I've done here is just to show you, I pasted that code back in here so you can see what happens. And you can see that the fields that I use, and it actually shows you the fields for those particular fields that it's pulling out of the list, which is quite good. And you can build from here and change the wording and do all sorts of stuff. So that's quite powerful in that respect. And then, of course, the last item I put in there was to update the SharePoint site with a timestamp and the acknowledgement date once it passes that, and that's pretty simple as well.